Alright, greetings everyone, it's RoninMac here. What I'm going to do today is just kind of give my overview so far for SCUM. And we're going to first go through the character generation process. Every time you join a new server, you have to make a new character, so you can't server hop like you did in the DayZ days, which essentially led to people going to a place with good loot and then transporting to different servers, picking up all the loot. It was just really lame. It was a kind of a glitchy way to get geared up really fast. But you can't do that here because every server you join, you have to make a new character. First off, your character can be any age from 20 to 50. You get dexterity bonus for being super young. Middle age, you kind of get strength, some dexterity. As you get older, you get constitution bonuses up to a point, and then as you get older, you get intelligence bonuses. So it's just, you know, ways to tweak your attributes. Then you get the body type. You can be super muscular, super skinny, super fat, and you know, I guess just for game balance reasons, fat people are more intelligent than muscular or skinny people, because you know, all skinny people are dumber. I understand it's a game balance thing because you're getting more dexterity, constitution, you know, you gotta balance it out somehow. Whether that's the best way to do it or not, I don't know. I think they should just let you pick your body type and then set your attributes as you like. I usually like to be thinner because constitution helps you run and fight without getting tired as fast. But there may be reasons to be like big fat people. I think have more hit points sometimes, or they're harder to beat up. I don't know. A lot of stuff they haven't had added yet, like skin color. All the models are male now. They're going to do male and female. They'll probably add more head types, I think. I mean, they're all pretty basic at this point. And then you can have tattoos or not. I'm guessing they're going to have several tattoo styles as well. They've got a flaw system, which I guess will give you bonus skill points. Hasn't been added yet. And stage, I guess, would be severity. Crime and bonus gear, I'm guessing you can spawn in with some limited items based on what crime you're convicted of. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. A lot of stuff that they haven't added that they're going to going forward. Basically, your base attributes times 2 gives you skills that you can put into, you know, different skills here. No skill, I think you get a penalty. Basic skill sets you at 0, so you don't get a bonus, but you don't get a penalty either. So you can see boxing, rifles, melee weapons, handgun. I'm just going to go ahead and stuff all my leftovers into boxing, so that should give me a slight bonus. Punching. And you've got running endurance, swimming, and resistance aren't in yet. You can see this is weird because it has handguns, not in, I don't know. Archery, heavy weapons, and weapon throwing, which is probably like hand grenades or, you know, explosives. So endurance I like to have because that's everything not running. So if you're fighting, if you're using your focus mode, that causes you to get more tired. Dexterity, it's a no-brainer because all we have is stealth right now. Eventually they're going to have driving, motorcycling, piloting, sailing, climbing, lockpicking, and throwing, which would probably be like throwing a knife or throwing a spear. Intelligence skills, just go basic awareness, basic sniping, basic camouflage, basic survival, and I think I'll put the rest in there. Survival helps you craft things out of the environment, like the spears. And as you craft stuff, you'll get more in-game, you'll get more experience, so you'll go up to advanced, and then you'll be able to craft everything. They've got programming, biochemistry, education, and psychology, demolitions, cooking. There's a lot of skills that haven't been added in yet. And again, they will be adding those in the future. I listened to a rather long interview with one of the developers on the team, and these guys are, who are they? Crow Team. It's a Croatian software development team, and it seems like they have a really solid plan of where they're going with this game. So anyhow, once you make your character, it'll give you the overview. Yeah, so you can see survival's at 50, everything else is at 0, just because I don't like to start out with a penalty. Although I guess as we get more skills, you're just going to have to take a penalty on some stuff. Right now you can make a pretty balanced person, but if you want to be like a computer programmer or something in the future, you'll have to sacrifice skills in that way. So a lot of stuff that they're going to be adding to this game in the future sounds promising. So now we're going to get into a little quasi gameplay. I'm not going to really pay too much attention to it. I'll just talk a little bit about what I think of the game so far. Obviously I like it because I did several videos on it already. But my initial plan was I was just going to do my first life online, try to live as long as possible, and record that whole thing. And if you've watched any of that, I just had kind of a slow walk to the dam. Unfortunately, moments after that last video that I made, I fell off the mountain and died. And it was all very silly because I shouldn't have even attempted to go down the way I was going down, and it was a pretty steep mountain. If you saw where the dam was, it was just dumb. And if you think I got pissed off when I lost my .22 rifle, you should have seen me when I fell down the mountain, because that had been a good 6 or 7 hours of in-game play time at that point. And while I wasn't really extremely kitted, I did have quite a bit of loot, and well, it was sad, but yeah, that is what it is. The problem I'm having with this game now is it's essentially DayZ, almost exactly. Where am I on the map? I've not been here before. Oh, I have been pretty close to here. I've spawned in D3 before, but not D2. This is nice, though. A little babbling brook. Heads on down to a little town there. This is lovely. So anyhow, as I was saying, this game is essentially, as it stands now, a better functioning DayZ, I should say, because I've spent quite a bit of time exploring more populated servers, and I've been having the same problem that I didn't enjoy with DayZ, which is everywhere I went, everything had been quite thoroughly looted, and it was very difficult to find anything useful. And that's frustrating because if you can't find anything, the game's not really fun. I guess from what the developer was saying that there's going to be a lot more base level crafting and stuff that you can do out in the woods. They're going to eventually allow you to craft long bows. I mean, there's already quite a bit in here, but they're going to let you craft, you can see you can make an improvised backpack or a small improvised backpack. There's a lot of stuff in there already, but not a ton. They're going to add more basic crafting stuff that you can do out in the woods. So essentially you could theoretically survive without looting anything in a population center. So that'll be a little nicer. But again, the idea of the game is to find military grade weapons and gear, and then you'll be able to defend yourself against players a lot better than you can if you just have a wooden spear and a stone knife. Put that in there. So, there's not a whole lot in here that Daisy didn't have. I mean, I think the puppets function better than the zombies in Daisy do. I think that the gameplay is a little smoother. The scopes seem to work better. I don't know, I just like the sound and the ambiance. I like the way they do kind of the cloudy distance stuff. It's a good way of implying what's there without forcing your graphics card to render everything hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but say dozens of kilometers away or a few kilometers away. So, let's walk on down here. I would think running water would be safe to drink, but I'm not dying of thirst yet, so I'm not going to. If you drink pond water, you will get diarrhea. It is not pleasant. I don't recommend it. They have in-game events right now, and it'll pop up on the server here, and it'll say Team Deathmatch, and then you can queue up. It's in progress right now, but when they have a new one starting, you can go in there, and it's basically what it sounds like. It's a in-game team deathmatch, so your character will despawn from the world, and you will just go play a team deathmatch. If your team wins, you'll get some fame points, which right now are useless other than allowing you to spawn either in the same sector that you died, on a shelter if you've built one, or you can spawn on teammates depending on how much fame points that you have. So it's not hugely useful, but it is useful if you die and want to respawn where your teammates are on the open world survival map. Is there a house up there? Seems like there is. Okay. The barn door's open. Let's see what's in here. Oh, let's go back to inventory. Looks like there was something on that table. Yeah, but the last two servers I joined were just completely full because I was trying to just see what that experience was like, and everywhere I went was like that. Everything was empty. And that gets tedious and old fast. I don't like that. I don't know how you address that, but there should be, like, I don't know, rarity of loot. Basic stuff should be easy to find. I mean, you should be able to find small backpacks, or I guess you can craft small backpacks, but that's still difficult unless you can find materials to make them with. Thread, cloth, whatnot. Sometimes you can find sunflower seeds. Sometimes you can't. This is like a replay of what was happening to me last night. Everything I touched was empty. Yeah, see, this gets tedious and old fast. I don't know how they need to address that, but you want to feel rewarded when you find stuff, but you don't want to feel like it's virtually impossible to find stuff either. Not seeing any puppets. That's usually a bad sign. If you come to a town and there's 0 puppets, I mean, this isn't really a town, but it's a small little villa or village or something, but generally that means it's picked clean, so we'll see how that works out for us. I haven't had an encounter with a living player yet that turned out to be anything other than them just shooting me on sight. I've been shot right after spawning, like now-ish, wearing my orange jumpsuit because I can't find any other clothes yet. A couple times. Then I was lightly kitted once, and I decided just to go to the airfield. I saw a guy, and I said hello, and then he turned around and shot me in the face with a shotgun. So I found that a bit rude. Yeah, it looks like we have a completely looted village again. Charcoal, scissors, neither of which is very exciting. Hey, a fishing hat. Alright, now we're in business. Shirt. Oh, a waste bag. That's nice. Give you a little more inventory space. I'm going to cut up that, where were the scissors? In the medicine cabinet, right? If you cut up clothing with, for example, the stone knife, you will get less than if you use scissors or if you have a better knife. So the better tool you use, the more resources you'll get from whatever item. And it goes without saying, rags are handy because you can build things out of them. Also, you can use them to patch wounds. So always worth having. Rag strips you can use to make primitive rope. So if I don't find a backpack, I'll want to do that. That goes outside. Let's see what's upstairs. So I guess so far I'm not going to probably play this game a whole lot more until a few more updates, I guess, because it does get pretty tedious and boring. Because as I said, they do have servers that say they're role-playing servers, which would probably indicate people are more open to conversing with you rather than shooting you. I haven't been to those yet. I might give that a go just to see if I can have fun with other players, but as it stands right now, and most of the vanilla servers, people just shoot you. There was a patch yesterday. They finally added Desert Eagles in, so you can go ahead and pick up that 50 caliber ammo because Desert Eagles exist now, so it's actually useful for something. I don't know if I thought they were just extremely rare before, but apparently they just didn't exist, even though they had the ammo for it. Nothing here. I quite like that little babbling brook. It's very relaxing. Sometimes you find food in these boxes. Sometimes you don't. Well, do I want a shovel? I don't think so. I don't know, eventually they'll probably have farming. Well, thread can be handy, but that's the first thing I'll drop if I need space. So, the team deathmatch stuff that they're doing now as just events, server events that you can join in if you want. Apparently they're going to expand that to capture the flag or like a last man standing, winner take all kind of thing. Lots of different ways that you can, play side games to get more fame and just break up the monotony of searching. So that's a good thing that they've added. Painkillers, I think, are still useless. Vitamins, however, are useful. Well, I already have a fishing hat, but this one seems it's in better condition. Boy, I am styling. I rarely find anything in trash cans. Metal scraps, there's lots of stuff that you can use in crafting that I can't be bothered with right now because you really need a lot of storage capacity to carry all this junk around. Yeah, so we're getting a little long in the gameplay here, and I wasn't really going for a full thing. So I like this game. There's not a lot in it yet. I think if they add a working, maybe not even car, and the developer did say they have the models for a lot of vehicles in, it's just that they're having issues with rubber banding and stuff, so they need to work on optimizing the server, which in the patch that they did yesterday, my frames are better than they were. I haven't had any extreme FPS dips like I was having initially. They're not great, but they're good. It's workable, especially when I'm recording. I'm staying at about 40, which, you know, while not great. Playing the game, I'm usually 50 to 60. And I've got a pretty decent graphics card, so I guess most of it's server end that causes those lags, but I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I didn't understand everything he was saying. So what else do I want to say? I like it. I think it's got a solid foundation. The stuff that the developer was saying they're looking at adding, especially with the medical skill, there's going to be a lot of different ways to treat wounds depending on, you know, if you get shot in the leg, if you get shot in the gut, you're going to have different issues to deal with. And intelligence skills like biochemistry, so you can make explosives. The programming was the most interesting one, because apparently if you have a good programming skill, you're going to be able to hack the big mechs, the flying camera drones, or even the puppets, and take control of them for, you know, a short period of time. And that would be dependent on your programming skill, finding, I guess, a laptop and getting close enough to said target to hack into it and take over, which could be interesting, like taking over the camera bot and being able to scout ahead and see where, you know, enemies are or something. Taking over a mech, obviously, just shooting people. It's a huge robot. That could be cool. Sailboats, cars, motorcycles, helicopter, airplanes. I don't know what they're going to add, but once they get those in, if they make this map, you know, 4 times the size what it is right now, because they said it was 12 kilometers by 12 kilometers, so that means it would be 3 kilometers square per each sector of the map. And if they make the whole map, you know, 4 times as large, you would never be able to walk across that. I mean, it would take 8 hours in game to get from bottom to top or something. It would be ridiculous, because it takes, I don't know, when I played before and I walked from the airfield up to the dam, that took 6 hours of game time. I was going pretty slow and cautious, just soaking in the environment. But and then he was talking about, because I guess they only have 5 programmers working on their team right now, and they want to hire people, but he was saying, you know, if we hire, you can't just hire a bunch, which is what DayZ did. Hired a bunch of people, but then you got to spend time training them to get with your agenda, with your program, and that takes time away from the programmers who are actually working on the game. So, you know, say he's working at 100%, now he's got to train the new guy, so he's working at 60% on improvements, and then, you know, taking time training the new employee, which will pay off in the end, but takes time to get there. Ooh. I'll take the wool sweater. Sometimes it gets chilly. So they got a good clothing layering system. You know, it's similar to what DayZ had. I just think the inventory layout's a little better. I really like what they've done with the metabolism system. You know, the eating food and then having to take the time to digest it, so it's not just like, oh, my hunger bar is full now. If you're tired because you haven't eaten in a while, you can't overeat all at once, because if your stomach volume goes over 100%, you'll throw up. So you have to, you know, take your time, take a little food, but it's going to take a while to get your calories and your body energy back. So I like that. The event stuff, it sounds like they're going to do some cool stuff in that. So if you like the team deathmatch, if you like the sudden death, winner take all, or capture the flag, or all kinds of, you know, basic Call of Duty stuff that the people like to play. I'm not into it so much, but that'll be there too. So if you like that, enjoy it. I'm going to put this up here. So this town's not completely looted. I was wrong. It's always nice to be able to find, you know, I'm not super geared up, but at least I have some inventory space, and if I find a backpack, I could probably make a backpack now, but I don't know, we'll see. So, in conclusion, I like this game. It's I think better than Daisy already, and based on the stuff the developers say that they're working on, it could be quite good in the future because there's going to be in-game missions. They're going to have, like, C-130s fly over and drop super premium loot, somewhere at C1, and you'll have to go decide if you want to go try to fight for it with other players or, hope that they leave and go to other spots. But it's going to break things up a little bit. Well, now I've got a needle to go with that thread. I was actually spent quite a bit of time in one game looking for... Well, if I want to kill myself, I can take that razor blade. But I was looking for a needle because I needed it. You can make an improvised water bottle with animal skins, and I had killed a goat and eaten it. And then I found out you could make a needle out of bones, so I killed a puppet and made a needle out of his femur bone. It was delightful. No. So, overall, as I said, I think they've got a good foundation, and I have quite a bit of faith in the developers. They sound like they have a solid plan. They know what they're trying to make. Just given the lore of the game with the prisoners on an island, I'm thinking they're going to make an end game goal of escaping the island, in which case you're going to need 3 or 4 people on a team because you're going to need several different skills, like someone to pilot a sailboat, someone to deprogram the chips on the back of their head so they don't explode when they try to leave the island. There's a lot of different stuff. So the medical skill, because as it stands, when you die, your skills go back to whatever the default was that when you generated that character. So if you make a person right off the bat that sucks at everything, but they're really good at programming, it'll be worth it for other players to keep you alive if they need that skill set. Or if you're a medic and they don't have a medic on their team, and it sounds like some of the wounds are going to take time and attention to fix. It's interesting stuff, plans that they have. The really cool thing was he said he'd talk with an Army Ranger medic, to learn a lot of combat medicine stuff, how things in the field work and stuff. And it sounded like they had some good stuff for the medic skills. So I'm thinking it'll be good. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but I don't know. It's worth the go. And right now it's only $20 on Steam. He did say it's not going to stay at $20. As they add more stuff, they're going to increase the price. That's a benefit for those that kind of jumped on board and supported. And I think they sold like 1 million copies. So that's $20 million, minus whatever Steam takes, minus taxes. So, they've got a little money to play with, which is why he was saying, we want to hire people, but you can't just hire a bunch right off the bat. So, you want people that are on the same page as you and, know the vision they have and can help you get that. That's a bummer. That's a really fancy looking chest, and it was empty. Yep. So, I don't know. If you like this kind of thing, survival game, there's not much to it now. Sounds like they got a couple more updates on the way in the next few months. Once they get the servers running a little more stable. And at that point, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. So, well, I'd pick it up for $20. Eventually, it'll probably be a $60 game. If all the features he said they were going to add, they add. It'd probably be worth $60, but we'll see. So, yeah, I like it. It's not great, but it's pretty solid right now. I've had fun with it, even though no one wants to be my friend and they all kill me. But I'm used to that. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye.